All right, guys, we are almost to the end here. And to help us start wrapping up, what we are going to do is revisit that question that was asked at the beginning. And we're going to work to see how it would be answered based on what we have read. So you're going to see the main assignment for this week, which is the reading synthesis. Now, what this is a assignment you are going to complete based on everything we read, but I will explain because you do get to pick and you kind of get to narrow it down. So you're going to have a document that looks like this, and I will explain to you what you're going to do with it. I've also included the same document, but I've put information here in red, details, explanations to help you out. What you're going to do is you're going to start with the two short stories that we read, and you see that they are linked here, so you just have to click on the title in order to open it up so that you can read it and help refresh your memory in case you forgot. So what you're going to do with it is work to answer our main question, what is the price of following the crowd? But you're going to answer the question based on the text. So you want to think, what does the short story Cooking Time tell us happens when you follow the crowd? So it's not just your opinion. This is not just your own personal opinion. This is based on the short story Cooking Time. So you want to revisit the short story real quick and just remind yourself what happened in this short story and the characters. But you're going to want to think, how would this short story answer this question here? So what is the author telling us about following the crowd? What do you have to give up, or what do you have to pay? What do you have to sacrifice when you follow the crowd? You want to think, what is this short story telling us here? What are they telling us about the price of following the crowd? You're going to give your response here in several sentences that explains the price of following the crowd. And then you're going to give me at least two pieces of evidence. Now, these two pieces of evidence have to be a direct quote from the story. So you're going to want to go back through and think about which line or paragraph or section deals with following the crowd and deals with the sacrifices you make in order to follow the crowd. So you're going to want to find a section that you will then copy and paste right into this document. You don't have to type it out word for word, but you can just copy and paste directly into the document. So you're going to start with Cooking Time. And what you're going to do is you're going to think, how does this story answer this question? So what does Cooking Time tell us we have to do in order to follow the crowd? What do we have to give up? What do we sacrifice? What do we pay? Right? Then you're going to move down and you're going to do the same thing with The Wretched and the Beautiful. It's the story about the aliens. What does this story tell us about the price we pay for following the crowd? What might we have to give up? What might we lose? What might get taken away from us? What might we give away? Think in terms of maybe values or beliefs. It's not saying pay as in like having to just give up money. That what is the price of following the crowd? It's not $500. We're not talking about money here. We're talking about what you have to pay in a figurative sense. What do you give up? What do you sacrifice? What do you lose in order to follow the crowd? So you're going to do the first two short stories, which, as you see here, are the ones that you must use. Then you will select two of the articles that we read, and they are all linked here. Pick two of these articles that you will use to answer the same questions. What is it that we do, or we give up, or we sacrifice in order to follow the crowd based on the article? All right. So what you're going to want to do is respond to the question above based on the reading cooking time first. Think about the story and the overall messages that the author was communicating to you. In several sentences, respond to the question based on the reading. Think beyond surface level, go deeper into the text. What I mean by that is think about the intangible items. Intangible means something that you cannot touch, you cannot hold, all right? Think about those intangible items and what you have to sacrifice in order to follow the crowd. That is, what are you giving up? Maybe you lose part of your identity. Well, explain in detail what part that is. Don't just say you give up who you are. What do you mean by that? Be specific. All right? You're going to do that with the two short stories. Then you're going to come down here and you're going to do the same thing with two of the articles that you select from the list of articles we read. So you're going to think any of these two, what happens when you follow the crowd? What do you lose? What do you give up? What do you sacrifice? What do you have to sort of give up or give away? Or what do you risk? If you think about some of the articles we read on the Milgram experiment, you know in there that many of the participants paid a price when they agreed to keep moving forward with the experiment. Even though the person in the other room was screaming and howling in pain, they still continued to move forward. They still continued to deliver the shocks. Some of them also worried about the role that they would play in being responsible, right? But they continued anyway after they were told to do so. So what does that tell us? We know that some of them gave up their idea of right and wrong, but they also gave up responsibility. They did not consider themselves responsible. They were just following orders. They were doing what they were told. So they gave up their sense of responsibility. They paid with their sense of responsibility. And you'll just give me a quote that shows that. Maybe where the experimenter tells them, you must keep going, the experiment must continue, I told you to do so, I'll take care of it, all of that, right? So you're going to work to give me an explanation for each one of these. What is it that this reading tells us about the price of following the crowd? What does cooking time say about following the crowd? Give me that answer here. Give me two pieces of evidence here. What is the price we pay for following the crowd based on The Wretched and the Beautiful? Give me an answer. Give me two pieces of evidence. Do not just give a vague summary. I want specifics. You have to be specific. You have to use examples from the text. Here, what article do you want to use? Type it in right here. Then tell me, what does the article say about following the crowd? Where's examples of that? Give me your second article. What does it say about following the crowd? Give me some examples. And that's what you're doing here for this last main assignment. You're going to tell me the price we pay for following the crowd based on the readings. If you have questions about it, feel free to shoot me an email. Definitely recommend you jump into this sooner rather than later. If you shoot me an email at 4 o'clock on a Sunday, might take a while before I get back to you. If you hit me up late Tuesday morning, it might be a little bit quicker, or Wednesday or Thursday. It's just when you shoot something to me at 8:30 on a Sunday night, I might not respond. So be quick with the emails, or just know that it might take me a while to get back to you. So that's what you're doing here for the last main assignment. You're going to do this, fill it out, be detailed, be specific. If you give me a fragment that's not even a complete sentence here, you're not going to get full credit. Really try to use complete sentences. You are a 10th grader in high school who will soon be an 11th grader. You can type in complete sentences. Give me complete sentences. So there we go. That's what we're going to do to begin wrapping everything up here. Like I said, questions, comments, concerns, compliments, just let me know.